Welcome to Underground GP, an all-new web series put together to take you on an unsolicited journey into the world of street racing in Gauteng and possibly other parts of South Africa. We're at the 011's closed track, which is home to 15 of the fastest street cars in Gauteng. And today, we're here for some list racing. The 011 Street Society has two lists, a front-wheel drive list and an open list, but more on that just now. As you can see, this race meeting is something straight out of the movies or video games. And even though the organizers are not fans or spectators, they still come from far and wide. This beautiful boosted Civic belongs to JP, the man who organizes these meetings. All four of these machines feature on the list, as well as this beautiful Butler-built giant turbo E30, which belongs to Stoyle, who's even more crazy than his car. Remember those lists we told you about earlier on? Well, the front-wheel drive list currently looks like this. Derek, with his Mark II Golf powered by a VR6 Turbo, is in 8th place. Then, Luke in 7th place with his Golf 6 GTI. In 6th place, we have Gio, whose Turbo Civic is on form tonight. 5th place belongs to George in his Fox Turbo, with 4th place going to the other Civic on the list, piloted by Dolph. 3rd place is held by Johan's Mazda-powered Bantam. In 2nd place, we have Reese with his huge Turbo Corsa OPC. At the top of the front-wheel drive list is Ryan with his NOS-fed 4AGE-powered Corolla. The open list features Keegan and his R35 as gatekeeper in 15th place. 14th and 13th belong to husband and wife Graham and Simone. The X5 piloted by Graham in 14th place has a healthy shot of NOS, while Simone's Evo in 13th place has a healthy shot of everything. Then you have Daniel, who runs a whole host of undisclosed mods in his M135i in 12th spot. 11th place belongs to Stoyle in his Turbo E36 powered E30. Then you have Chris in 10th with his N54 powered 135i. 9th place belongs to Rian with his 2JZ powered 200SX. Cecilia and her 7R are in 8th place, while Shiraz with his M5 are in 7th. 6th goes to Dave with his M135i, and 5th is Kenneth with his 135i. Both cars run NOS. Ilandria's 7R holds 4th place, while Joso's M3 holds 3rd, but he's not here today. Dom's 7R is in 2nd place, and the number 1 spot belongs to Calvin in his RS3. As you can see, there's some pretty spectacular machines that come out to play on this rather awesome strip. We'll tell you more about these cars as the series goes on, and we'll even bring you full build breakdowns on many of these cars because a number of them have entered the Initiation 2017 Drag and Circuit Challenge. So they'll be featured on the Initiation Application Series. This series is more about racing. But before we get to the racing, I'm going to hand you over to JP, who's currently expressing his opinion about cyberbullies.
It happens, yeah, you take your car, you take your stuff, and as usual, you get out of here. The boys know helmets, no race. You don't bring a helmet, make a friend borrow a helmet. I don't care. Don't line up here without a helmet, please. So, alright, our top 15 will be running tonight with likewise our front wheel drive list starts today. As you can see, there's a few front wheel drive cars here. Don't want to miss something. Alright, the lights, it's a little bit difficult to enjoy, keep it clean. And be safe. Races, lamppost, let's go. Races, let's go. What's wrong? Let's win. Yeah, guys, your plastics in there, please take it home with you. Don't throw it in the bush, please. It's a hassle to clean up here, trust me. I came here on a Sunday, me, Dean, and a few guys. It's a hassle to pick up this rubbish. Thanks, Dean. So just take your plastics, throw it away. Races, lamppost, let's go. So what we need to do is we need to try and get the quicker cars up the list. I know it sounds stupid, but we know it is. We need to. This list is what's going to go to Nitro. Nitro is not fast best. It's the next event, which is Street Wars. That is the event we're going. Unfortunately, I've tried everything to take 20, 30 cars. They can't have it. They can only take 15 cars.
This guy's got a house. That's all. Yeah. Yes. I blame my cars.
Elon did a good point. If a car is faster than can you just get the spot? You don't go and hammer your car for no reason, you can just get the spot as well. If it's a bit of pride and you say, you know what, you want to race.
No, I'll give up. You take a spot, you're going to earn it. Wait, first is Stoyle, then it's
in saying that, it's going to get stricter now. And I promise you now, I'm no more doing favours for anybody anymore.
Oh,
no more. Oh, JP, can we just have a rerun because my second gear is, you know what, buy a better clutch, buy a short shifter, I do not care. Do something.
Don't jump.
Do something to get your car going to gear better, right?
And the jumping.
If you jump, your spot is gone. If I tell you jump, you jump. Don't come and moan, don't come and bitch.
I want footage.
What I say, that's how we're going to do it. From now on, my call is the last call. So if JP says you jump and you want to scream and cry, go pack your toys away and go home, come back next week. Alright, so that's how we're going to do it. Just do me a favour over here. I just need the front wheel drive list here, and I need the 15 cars here. Our 15 list here, and I need the front wheel drive list here. So Jared is your big chief. After I'm done here, you guys have got a name. You don't come to me to argue. You go to argue with Jared. You understand? He controls the group. The only reason I'm doing this is because when I start racing, I've also got to answer to someone. You guys have seen how the night goes, so it's not difficult. Challenge ahead. If you lose, obviously don't move. The guy that wins goes up, he takes your spot, and then keeps going. Jared will start doing it. Sweet, enjoy.
Are you taking the right juice? Are you not maybe getting estrogen?
Second race. Chris and Rian, I saw that's on the group.
3 races there, please.
Okay, now hold on. This is where the confusion comes in. Daniel,
3 races, please.
you're going to race someone.
No, I call that spoiled. I call it on the group. Still agreed to it. Yes, and
I've comes and races.
No, she's taking the spot. No, she's taking the spot.
Okay.
I've given up my spot for this one.
What? Giving up the spot. It's a chance to test the car.
No, but I want to race first. If I go up, but if she calls out, she's calling out the loser of the race. So if it's me, she has my spot.
No, but then,
Okay, I'll race someone then. No problem.
Yes.
I'm going to stay on the start line.
Just jump.
I'm staying on the start line.
Okay, what I'm going to do is because
It's a chance to drive a car
at the bottom. So let the list move so these two can start coming up on the side. We need to challenge each other now. First race, Kenneth and Alondra.
Sorry.
Chris and Rian. After that will be Cecilia and Shiraz. I think she wants to go to Shiraz. Give Dave just needs 10 minutes. So I think we've all just given us 10 minutes. And then Daniel, you guys know it's going down the hole.
So Rian and Chris are racing.
After the whole round, after this first round, then you'll see. We'll update the list. Then you'll see.
No, man, what I'm saying is me and Daniel, or me and Simone, whoever I'm racing, who we racing.
After you race, you got pop.
Like, don't call me when the line's empty waiting, because if I need to warm up a little bit.
What you do, buy yourself a jack and get your wheels turning when you're ready. Let's start racing.
First race, we've got Gio in the Civic versus Luke in the Golf. Luke is after Gio's spot, but the Civic really is something else.
I'll remember.
Gio defends his spot like it was nothing. Niku, in the naturally aspirated 16-valve Mark 1 Golf, is new to the list, so he's racing George in the Fox Turbo to see where he'll place. Unfortunately, George completely messes up his 60-foot, allowing Niku in his Golf to run away. Now we've got Dolph in the Civic currently sitting in 4th place, challenging Johan in the Bantam for his spot at 3rd. Even though the Bantam got a better launch, somehow he lost 3rd place to the Civic. This is Ryan's turbocharged and NOS-fed 4AGE Corolla, who'll be defending his number 1 spot from Reese in the big turbo OPC. Very tight race, but the Toyota keeps the top of the list to himself. Now we have Kenneth with the 135i, who's currently in 5th place, challenging Ilandria 7R for 4th place. Even though the all-wheel drive Golf got out the blocks like a champion, the displacement difference in NOS gave Kenneth the legs he needed to take 4th place. This is Daniel, and he doesn't disclose much.
What's in the hub here? It's undisclosed.
This M135i making beautiful compressor surging noises belongs to Dave. That's Dave. He always looks angry. This 135i belongs to Chris. We published a full build breakdown in episode 3 of the Initiation Application series. But for those of you that missed it, this car runs a massive single turbo with a lot of NOS. Chris currently sits in 10th place, and he wants the number 9 spot. Rian with his 2JZ powered 200 SX has been called up to defend his spot. So here it is, the race for 9th place. What a close race, but Rian keeps his spot and so does Chris. Remember that X5 we told you about in 14th place? Well, here it is. It's an X5M with a healthy shot of NOS. Graham, who pilots the X5, has been called out by the current gatekeeper Keegan and his R35 GTR. Many people have already seen this race from the view of the camera on the R35. So I bet you think you already know what happens? Well, you don't know what actually happened. Even we don't know what actually happened. That was an extremely close race, and even with all of our footage, it's hard to tell you who won. That's why we have spotters at the end of the track, and they radioed in with the verdict. This is Daniel from earlier, who runs a whole host of undisclosed modifications on his absolutely spotless M135i. He's called out Stoyle with a Butler-built E30 powered by an E36 turbocharged motor for the 11th spot. Very close race, but the E30 takes the win. Now we have Cecilia in her 7R calling out Shiraz in his M5 for the 7th spot on the list. While the 7R put up a good fight, the M5 is just something else after the 200-meter mark. After giving up his spot to the Evo, Daniel now has to defend his spot from the X5M. Daniel moves into 14th place with the X5 in 13th and the Evo 10 in 12th. Rian with his 2J200 SX has called out Cecilia's 7R for the number 8 spot. Even though the JDM car put up a good fight, the 7R took the race by half a car. Now we have George in the Fox Turbo versus Dolph in the Civic Turbo. And the Honda goes on to mutilate the VW. Next up is Luke in his Golf 6 GTI vs Ryan in his heavily modified Toyota Corolla. What do you know, the car at the top of the list just ran away from the car in 7th place. Niku's naturally aspirated Mark 1 Golf fancied a shot at Gio's Turbo Civic. The Golf did well down the first half of the strip, but the Civic just strolled away down the second half. Reese's OPC would like to take a swing at Johan's Bantam. Unfortunately, Reese bogged hard. Back to the big list. We have Simone's Evo 10 in 12th place, challenging Stoyle's E30 for the 11th spot. Take nothing away from Stoyle, he's fast, but my word, that Evo 10 is a rocket ship. Here we have Dave in his M135i, who's challenged Ilandria for the 5th place he just fell into. Just like the last 135 to race the 7R, after the 200 meter mark, the BMW has the legs. Now we have Chris from CCD versus Cecilia in her 7R. Unfortunately for Chris, the all-wheel drive and DSG in the Golf was a little too much for him to deal with. Shiraz from 7th place would like to take that 6th place Ilandria fell into. So the next race is for 6th. We have the M5 versus the Golf 7R. Loser gets 7. Unfortunately for Ilandria, he has faced the same fate 3 times in a row tonight, destroying the BMW down the 200 meters, only to have it catch and pass before the end of the 400. Stoyle is here to defend his spot. What is he defending it from? The X5M. How was that for a close race? Even though JP thought the left lane won, the X5 took the victory by half a car.
I think the left lane's gone.
Next up is George in the Fox versus Gio in the Civic. Like we told you, Gio's car is really performing today. Luke vs Dolph, Golf 6 vs Honda Civic up next. Both Civics were actually in top form tonight. Now it's time for Johan to go up against Ryan in his AGE-powered Corolla. For the win. After everybody got out the way of the Evo, we have Cecilia's 7R versus Simone's Evo 10. Evo for the win. Shiraz called out Dave for the 5th place he just took from Ilandria. So the M5 and the NOS-fed M135i are about to have it out. Loser takes 6th. Will Dave go back to where he came from tonight? Will Shiraz jump 2 spots? Find out after these burnouts. Unfortunately for Dave, the car closed the throttle just after the race started, resulting in the M5 running away. Riaan is back against the 7R in his 2J-powered 200SX. Good fight from the Golf, however, he had no fight left in him after the 200 meters against that 2JZ. Stoyle has been called out by Keegan with the R35. Stoyle just beat Keegan with the R35. The X5M is back, and he's called out Cecilia. Graham's X5M walks away from the little Golf 7R. Keegan in the R35 is very brave to line up next to Calvin in the RS3, which is the current leader of this list.
JP, don't forget the camera.
JP had a bit of a habit of standing in the way of the camera after he started a race. GTR put up a good fight, but that is the fastest VAG I have ever seen on an unprepped 400 meter. RS3 for the win. Riaan's back, and this time he wants to go at Dave. Hopefully Dave gets a full run in without an ECU error like last time. Flames out the back of Dave's car, and he loses to Riaan's 200SX. Kenneth's GT3071R boosted and nitrous fed 135i have been called out for 4th place by Shiraz's M5. Kenneth put up a good fight, but the M5 was in front by a car and a half after the 400 meter. CCD built N54 135i versus Butler built E30 Turbo. Chris versus Stoyle. Stoyle takes the win by 1 car. Next up, Riaan, who's on form tonight, calls out Kenneth. And the 200SX takes the win. Then, very bold Riaan decided he wanted to swing at the Evo 10, piloted by Simone. Simone won the race by 3 cars. Remember, this is a fully NX Gen built Evo 10. Shiraz in his M5 want to take on Dom in his 7R. Yes, the Golf just beat the M5, which isn't exactly factory spec'd either. Now, Simone wants her shot at the M5. Oh boy, did she take her shot, leaving the M5 for dead. Now, she can challenge Dom for second place. That's right, if the Evo wins this, she goes to second place. And remember, she started at 13th today. Unfortunately, JP doesn't want you to see how that race ended, but I can tell you that the Evo won by a car and a half. Following his misses, Graham also wants to progress up the list, so he calls out Kenneth. And the X5 leaves the 135i for dead. Now, Graham calls out Shiraz in the M5. Remember, both these cars are powered by the same motor. However, that's where the similarities stop. The M5 takes the win by 1 car length. Here it is, the race you've all been waiting for, Simone's Evo 10 versus Calvin's RS3 for first place. Like I told you, this RS3 is another level kind of fast. With its low bar turbos and happy gas, it stays at the top of the list. Kenneth and Shiraz want to have a run. Now Chris wants a solo. The Hondas needed to know who were the fastest of the two. Johan and Ryan also wanted to play. And the racing continued very late into the night like any real underground racing scene should. This is what the lists look like after the race day. The 011 Street Society have the best unofficial race gathering I've ever seen. We'll be attending as many of these meetings as we possibly can. We'll also introduce you to more unofficial list racing taking place throughout Gauteng and other parts of the country. Right now, I believe the 011 is home to the fastest street cars in Gauteng. However, we're going to follow them as they challenge and get challenged by other underground racing leagues. You guessed it, that's all from this video, folks. If you enjoyed it, please remember to share. And if you haven't already, please like and follow our Facebook page, then subscribe to our YouTube channel for more. You can find all the links in the description.